International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. A challenged world is an alert world. As women of Sierra Leone, we can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements. From challenge comes change. So let us all choose to challenge. So raise your hand high to show you are in and that you commit to choose to challenge and call out inequality, corruption, sexual harassment, rape, domestic violence, and women empowerment. Collectively, we can all help create an inclusive Sierra Leone.
Women and politics. Women have been abused, marginalized, and their human rights been violated in our political spectrum. And this has been a trending issue on the role women play in politics. It is against this backdrop that the iconic Tell It to Rachel talk show platform brings you Women and Politics. Women and Politics is the all-new social media reality talk show that will propagate the very notable and desirable women of Sierra Leone to tell the whole story behind the stories in the political arena. Women and Politics, hosted by Rachel Bangura Davis and produced by Mariama Denkekani. Women and Politics.
Hello, and welcome to the Tell It to Rachel show in another edition of Women in Politics. In today's edition of Women in Politics, we will be discussing on the topic uncovering unfold the truth about women activism or women organization in Sierra Leone. So don't go, stay with me, and we will be right back.
International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. A challenged world is an alert world. As women of Sierra Leone, we can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements. From challenge comes change. So let us all choose to challenge. So raise your hand high to show you are in and that you commit to choose to challenge and call out inequality, corruption, sexual harassment, rape, domestic violence, and women empowerment. Collectively, we can all help create an inclusive Sierra Leone.
All right, welcome back. Like I said, if you're just joining in, you are watching the Tell It to Rachel show on another edition of Women and Politics. Like I said, the topic today is we are unfolding and uncovering, the truth about women organization in Sierra Leone. And joining me today on this program is Fabian Swill. Fabian, say hello to viewers.
Hello, hello.
All right, Fabian, if you can just increase the volume so we can hear you properly. Because all right, welcome,
Okay.
welcome again.
Good good evening to everybody. Good evening. Good evening.
All right. We have also Alma, but we just lost Alma. But we are expecting Alma at any time from now to join the program. If you're just joining in, please share the video. Please share the video. Call, your friends. Share to your friends, and you also have a role to play on this program today by sending in your comments, your thoughts on what you think. What's your opinion on the truth about women's organization or women's activism in Sierra Leone. So let's continue the conversation on the program. Fabian, let's go straight to issue today. One of the reasons, first of all, why I was able to reach out to you is there's a video that you did that was very, very striking to me because, and the issue was always very close to my heart. But when I saw young and vibrant woman like you openly speaking out about issues of women, about, feeling the way the grassroots women feel, feeling the way a sexual abused woman can feel. I saw the passion. I saw the sincerity in you. What led you to do that video? But before you talk about that Famulem, I want for sure the video. Please be patient. This is our issue, women's issue is everybody's issue. Please, I want all of us to be patient and take our time to look and understand the whole idea behind this video. Stay with me.
One International Women's Day. The theme says choose to challenge. That's the international theme, right? And we local theme now, women in leadership. So in honor of this day, honestly, there is something that bothers me from deep down my heart. So we have a lot of women, men, with several organizations, associations, foundations, blah blah blah, you name it, that are fighting to end discrimination against women, trying to empower them, fighting against different forms of sexual and gender-based violence against women and girls. But then something clicked on my mind. I know say there was a situation of an allegation, but for the last couple of days I'm asking myself, is it something that happened, or am I just getting a nightmare, awake one day and I'm making this up? Yes, we are constrained with investigating rape, alleged rape, sexual penetration, all those cases. But me being who I am, and God knows my heart, I'm saying this from my heart, and people who are close to me know me. Right now, the two most precious men in my life, because my biological dad is dead, now my husband and a father figure, weighing at the person of my bishop. God forbid if any of those two people are accused of rape or sexual penetration or any form of sexual or gender-based violence. In as much as I love them, I adore them, I trust them, I would not, me, Fabian Swill, would not be part of the people who go to rally around them on social media until the investigation is done. I say this because we all know somebody who stands accused right now. There was a lot of noise about, oh, this Namia allegation, people talking about defamation and blah blah blah. Excuse me guys if the audio is a mess, because the breeze, yes, the breeze, I understand. About defamation and so on, go report to police. Okay, the case then we don't go report to police, but okay, what's up with the investigation now? Where are we? How far? These are stories we keep hearing about investigation. At what point do we ever come whether they can give we feedback, say we've concluded investigation? And first of all, again, what's they determine the conclusion of the investigation? We not get DNA testing a salon. Anyway, all that aside, what bothers me is them people, yeah, both male and female, what they see, get organizations, associations, foundations, who are the girl champions, women champion, where they fight for end rape, discrimination, any form of sexual and gender-based violence against women and girls. These are the same people where somehow look they support Onkulo, like they don't understand. Onkulo they on social media right now, they post on Facebook like nothing is wrong. Hear me, this dry eye sweet me. I wish I've been dry eye so. Like nothing is wrong. Yes, everybody is innocent until proven guilty. But if you genuinely they fight for women and girls, anybody where they accuse, you would not be one for the rally around the person and they show them love and support even in public on social media. That's disgusting. You know why? You do this now and you're expecting other women and girls who are victims forget the confidence in you, come forward to you, confide in you, we encourage them all for speak up. Yet we wait them for the speak up to now we are the people where they rally around alleged perpetrators. Tell me whose confidence you they give people them. You they give woman girl picking them for look you kind and say this not the kind man or this not the kind woman where if me be a victim I for run go to and confide in go help me. Whose confidence you they give? There are a lot of you, we see you guys, just so you know, we see, we they take notes, we they pay attention. Mind you, there would come a day, this your hypocrisy would come back to haunt you. I am not one person who comes to do live on social media. I'm not even interested. I think today the second live I do. The first live was the day for Echo Festival Bidena Senoon when they pamper me for ready for the show. But it hurts me. So me, I choose to challenge una today on una hypocrisy. We see you guys, una go comment on the impost there. Like all is well, nothing is wrong. Are you kidding me? Una no get conscience? Don't you guys think we're watching, we're paying attention? People are not stupid, you know. Not everybody is gullible. There are people who are paying attention where they take note. So it seems to me that most of una they come for pretend as if you care about women and girls and you're fighting for them just so they go give una awards. So you would be recognized with awards and so una go write projects them, other institution and go give una money for support una. Because if genuinely you were doing it in the interest of women and girls, an alleged perpetrator not a person where you go support. We are all right now seeing what's happening in America. Look R. Kelly, look Bill Cosby. It's not new to people where they fight for women and girls for no say powerful and influential men mostly tend for use them power and influence in society for abuse women and girls hoping they would get away with it. So excuse me, why are you having sacred cows? Why are you protecting certain people? Yes, today's International Women's Day and we international theme now choose to challenge. I am doing this and I'm so mad, I'm so pissed. I'm choosing to challenge you guys. Yes, I dey challenge una. Una know una self. Una they go, una they like and post them, una they share like nothing is happening. Are you kidding me? I am just reminding you that we know. We they see una, we they pay attention. We they wait all for the investigation outcome. We don't care how long it takes. If it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. What I know is as a female, today don't be International Women's Day. This is a question I've also been asking people. Me as a female, I know I'm sexy as well. How do I know? Say what I wake this fateful morning, somebody get for go sexually harass me or somebody get for rape me. How do I know that? How do I know? Because now where I know, now I go able for prepare myself for get evidence. I'm sorry, we would all left for witch. Now a few witch man and still live. But when me not a witch, I know they looking grown, I know they totobe, how me gonna say this is my fate for the day? How do I secure evidence? In a country where we not get DNA testing machine, in a country where the victim and the alleged perpetrator, it comes down to your word against mine. In a country where we don't see this damn hypocrisy right now, where it's about getting the money, getting fame and recognition, so people will be awarded and all the nonsense. We see some of una, how vocal and vociferous you guys have been about other issues in the past. How come nobody else amongst you guys, una were really the first for woman and girl picking in a saloon? How come you've not come public to say anything? Nobody know they tell una say una can't pass judgment. But can you please dissociate yourself from the individual until the investigation is concluded? Because when you don't do that, you give other man them the audacity and the gumption for say, we can do this. As long as we're powerful, we are known, we are influential, we are famous, people and they will go stand by we because of the status we don't attain in our society. They would not believe we are capable of doing such things. Again, I reiterate, this is not me passing judgment. This is me simply calling you guys out on your bullshit and your hypocrisy. We see una, we notice una. So stop the hypocrisy. I don't blame una na the award them. I keep saying this. I think the award business I don't confuse, but who people in this country? People just they go left, right, forward, and center, doing all the wrong things just to be seen and heard. So then go get an award. Cause it's not genuine. It's not. I see you, Jane darling. Seriously, honey, it's a shame. Happy International Women's Day to you there. Happy International Women's Day to all the men and women where really they're not just saying these things to be seen and heard. They are really passionate about men who are violating women and women, of course, who are also violating men. It's unfair. Yes, today's theme says choose to challenge. I, Phoebe Swill, I'm choosing to challenge you, the hypocrites. All you dirty hypocrites, I'm challenging you. That na hypocrisy on adepa for fan money, for fan recognition, just to be seen and heard. Yes, now they go and comment. Who they see una comments there? Not to say we blind. And now we all then at this blew up. We they see you guys go, you comment, you share, like all is well. Me, I be they ask myself, am I insane?
Okay. Okay. This is breathtaking, Phoebe.
Yes, my dear.
And I see the emotions and, the comments section, flowing with, opinions and all of that, while the video was playing. And even with me, I was like, as stiff at some point, because I want to ask you, first of all, what gave you the audacity? Having looking at what is going on in the country, people are afraid to speak up. People are afraid to speak through to power. What gave you that audacity to begin to call people out? Tell me about it.
Rachel, honestly, I like the choice of word, audacity. Right. So it basically, I was more inspired by the theme for this year's International Women's Day, choose to challenge. And so I took it upon myself to choose to challenge those people. Because to be honest, the hypocrisy, it stinks. The hypocrisy is appalling. How can you be somebody who claims to be an activist, a women and girls' rights advocate, and then you're still one of the people? If we hadn't seen things like the R. Kelly story, the Bill Cosby and other stories, you would think that it's far-fetched. It's not possible for people like this to do this. What's the other guy's name? I think it's DKB. He was working with the IMF at one time as well, the French guy. I watched his documentary as well. So when you come across all these stories and you know that powerful men who are influential, famous, who have, just men who have affluence in society tend to do these things. Well, not all of them, some tend to do some of these things, hoping they would get away with it. There is no way for you as an advocate, an activist, to side with an alleged perpetrator. We are all on Facebook. We see the posts the man is making, and we see the names of the people who come under the comment section. Really, I have screenshots of those because in future we would need them. We would need them to remind people of their hypocrisy. It's unfair. If you genuinely are fighting for women and girls, you would not be one person who would be making such, public appearances with a person. Basically, you're saying to the public, I believe that this alleged perpetrator is innocent. And when you do that, two negative things that takes us to. One, you're scaring victims away from coming public to talk about it. They would be scared because they know once they come public, nobody's going to believe them. People would rather side with the alleged perpetrator because they're influential, they're famous, and they're powerful. Secondly, the other danger you're posing is other men who are in that same category, who fit the profile, would think that, Mr. X did it anyway, and
People supported him. People came to his rescue. People came to his aid. They were defending him. So I can do it as well. Nobody would believe I did it. So you're silencing victims. Also, you're encouraging other powerful, influential, and famous men to do the same thing because they're thinking, oh, it's yeah, we can do it and we'll get away with it. There are people who would support us. People who even call themselves advocates. Go check the comment section of that man's post. It would shock you. People with foundations, with organizations, associations who are so-called advocates and activists who are fighting for women and girls. Those are the same people under the comment section applauding him. Some other people have the audacity and the gumption to go pray for the person and making the alleged victim look very stupid. Then they swear all. Are you kidding me? But these are the same people who would take to social media if the merely say a gate man from somewhere raped this person or penetrated a girl, they would have the loudest voices because it's a nobody alleged perpetrator. But when it's a somebody, a famous person who seems to be powerful, everybody yin yang, it's hypocrisy. It is.
All right, before we go to some other, views on part of your life, um, who is this uncle? Oh, it's because I mean it's about time we begin to call out some of these perpetrators rather than bringing out the victims. Because we have seen a lot of times we just talk about the victims. Sometimes posting pictures of victims, which for me personally, it's not ethical. You know what I mean? So about time we begin to call out this perpetrators. We begin to show them out, show their photos, and call them out so that other people can see them rather than just bringing out the victim. So, by the way, who is this Onkulu? So that people will have the grip of your story.
Beautiful and awesome question, Rachel. I would love to mention him. Two things. Me understanding about the judiciary and how the law operates. First of all, the case is currently at the police because a lot of people were saying, oh, na defamation and blah, 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 report to the police. If not, we'll sue you for defamation nonsense. Now the case is at the police. So, yes, we would wait on the police for the outcome of the investigation. And while the investigation is going on, of course, by the law, we're not allowed to take these matters up on social media. So, but we all there on social media. We know the case that emerged very recently. We would wait upon the conclusion of the investigation because then we are legally at liberty to name names and discuss it further in details. But as the case stands now, being that it's been reported and I think it's going to be taken to the court, for now, we all know the individual. Without even naming the name,
Well,
we
we
all
don't
know the
know. Well,
individual.
we don't know, Phoebe, and some of us don't know. Viewers don't
Especially
know,
if
and
you're
I'm
not on
sure they
social
want
media. It means you're probably not on social media because if you are, you definitely would know. You're not on social media. If you are, you would know.
but for the sake of our viewers,
But again, so again, there are very prominent people, few prominent people who have been who have been accused of sexual penetration or rape. How many of them you've heard of their cases being in court, being taken to court?
yeah,
How many?
exactly.
So it tells
Actually,
you those whose names you've not heard yet, say don't report. Those are the people. The one day when you know you say don't report.
yeah, exactly. I was going to go there. Welcome, Alma. Welcome. I thought we lost you at some point, but I want to welcome you back aboard the show. And can you hear me, Alma?
Yeah, yes, I can. Sorry, my phone is not charged. I had to send the
Oh,
link to my husband's phone.
red side's not on your side today. I'm sorry. But all right, okay. This is a very interesting conversation because it is very close to my heart. Like you said, Phoebian, we see some of these women advocates on social media or women's organization. We see them, they talk about issues like you mentioned. How about the so many issues when it comes to corruption or issues that they feel, they should bring to spotlight? We see them talking about it. Unfortunately, some of these women organizations are not consistent. They don't follow through with some of these issues. And sometimes when it comes to highly political issues, when it comes to this, loyalty issues, or I'm affiliated with this person, or I know this person, they don't want to talk about it. Is it that they are selective, or they are being partisan in the way they carry out their activism?
I think it's that I'll borrow the words of somebody, somebody I have so much respect for, that I was having a conversation with few days ago about the same issue, and the person used a very apt description, saying it's opportunistic advocacy, and I agree. It's opportunistic advocacy. They're doing it to sort after opportunities in the form of awards, opportunities in funds they make from individuals, institutions, and so on, as they purport to be advocates and activists. But it's not genuine, because if it's genuine, you use the high profile cases to set the brightest examples. For those people who are serious enough to fight to end rape and sexual penetration, this would have been an apt case to serve as a better example to would-be perpetrators to say desist from such. Desist, because even powerful men who have been accused or who are caught in such have been seriously dealt with. So it's an example to other people, even people who are not influential and powerful. They would learn from it and say, "Duya, udana me. If that person win a so person, this kind of thing come up and name people and react to, and so la not try am." So this would have been a good case for us to set a bright example. I was shocked at how it was handled. How many people really even took to their social media to post anything about the case, even before it was taken to the police, even before it was reported to the police? But guess what? On a normal day, when it's just ordinary citizens who are not powerful, all man in social media, the boss, they would be posting about it. Then go don't make their own flyers there now. That's when they would start all over again. And rape and sexual penetration, they would organize for rallies, they would do protests and blah blah blah. How come all of a sudden a lot of them are quiet? Go check their social media feeds. The most popular advocates, check them one by one. Check their social media feeds. Check it from now to last year, December, and see if any of them posted anything about this particular high profile case. Why? They don't have an answer. But if it was just an ordinary citizen, they would be posting about it every week. So it tells you indeed it's opportunistic advocacy they're engaged in. It's not genuine. It's not from their heart. It's not with the desire to come to a point where we realize tangibly the drastic reduction in the amount of rape cases and sexual penetration. So it's just opportunistic advocacy. None of them, check it. Everybody who's watching this, make this an assignment. All the advocates who own organizations, foundations, and associations, go check their social media feeds. Since that issue was brought about on social media very recently, check if any of them made any post. Again, let me reiterate, I'm not saying anybody should come and pass judgment, but what you should do is,
absolutely,
mind you, that individual is an individual we all respected. At this point, I'm not going to respect for him until after the investigation. So if you are genuine about it, you would post something to dissociate yourself to say, I am in support of the investigation. While you're not saying the victim is right because you were not there, you would also not be the one to say the alleged perpetrator is innocent because, again, you were not there. So you're not supposed to take anybody's side. Take the side of justice in this until we get to a point where the investigation is concluded and you know who was wrong. So if not the lady life and the man back, we would be ready to shame her. We would be ready to disgrace her and set an example out of her. But if the investigation comes back to say she was right, we should also be in the position to shame him and disgrace him, so it would be unattractive to other men who would want to try the same thing, thinking, when I do it because I'm powerful, I'm famous, I'm popular, I would get away with it. So they're
Absolutely.
hypocrites. Just check it on social media. None
Okay.
of them, they're pretending as if they don't understand.
You've just established, an extended, unfolding this the very act of these women organization. And I tell you what, when I put the topic, when I posted the topic on unfolding the truth about women's organization, or the so-called women's advocates in Sierra Leone, I got a lot of text messages. I got a lot of messages in the sense that women are hurting, but they can't speak. They can't speak out. They see, like you said, they are no more gullible like we used to be in the past. So they understand. They see these people on social media. They see they are not consistent. They see they are selective on issues. And they see that some of these cases, they use them to exploit financially, like you said, funds and all of that. So they see everything. So I saw the text messages flowing like, lady, this is a good topic. This is a good issue. And we want to also throw light on it. So I'm encouraging you, viewers, women or men, please send in your thoughts, your opinion, your comments on what you think about, the women's organization in Sierra Leone, or the women's advocates in Sierra Leone. Mind you, there are few ones that are really trying to do what they're supposed to do. But I think a bulk of the organization, they are not living up to our expectation. Let me bring you, Alma. You are the CEO and founder of Domestic Helpers Organization. Bring us to light as to what you do, or what your organization does in terms of helping domestic workers, and how, if there is any recognition, or giving you the attention that this issue needs. Hello, Alma, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, can you hear
Hello?
me? Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay.
I can.
So did you hear my question?
Little bit of it.
Okay, I'm just saying, as you are the CEO and founder of Domestic Helpers Association, can you please tell us like what your organization do, and how you have been able to exhibit in terms of advocating for those sets of people in Sierra Leone?
Hello?
Okay, I think
Hello?
yes, I can hear you. Okay, I think we're not, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear
Okay,
you.
okay. Okay. Thank you for getting me on this platform. Yeah, I for appreciate the work we do. Now, we dey work with domestic workers then. And domestic workers then are people wey dey clean, cook, book, wey look after our pikin them, defend the inside house, and they don't be marginalized, they don't be neglected, society no look down on them, they don't get any recognition, So as an organization, we dey try for advocate and also facilitate them, let them get recognition and also get this. So basically, now that work we dey do. But because they just let us say, they look at all informal workers, and we all know we therefore concentrate on one thing. We dey forget say informal workers themselves very necessary, they're very relevant, they're very useful. Most of we know they celebrate, jubilate, call, commemorate, all the one within the formal sector, and we neglect the informal sector. And it gets kids to within the play, but unfortunately the roles cannot be recognized.
All right. Have you been able to get the recognition, like you said, the women organization that are established? Have they been able to collaborate with you or to work with you or to show you, mentor you as to where they can come in terms of helping these domestic workers? Like you said, they are equally going through different forms of abuse. Have they been so supportive to your cause?
And for me, looking broadly from the women's organization, it's a big no, a big one, no. And if you can check the global data and survey of domestic workers, you find mainly women into that sector is highly dominated by women. And of course, most of us women, we know that. But unfortunately, thinking, oh, um, maybe I'll have people that will coach me, mentor me, give me linkages on how to move about, to get funds, to create the impact I want to create, to provide the recognition. Unfortunately, it's a big no. But fortunately, for this international, we know International Women's Day, we also used to celebrate from our set people. And she hosted me on that day. And it was like she said, oh, most of the time, we don't neglect the informal people actually. They're so relevant, but we don't recognize them. And so she was happy for getting me at the studio that day for explaining about what we do. But from the board aspect, they get people for support you. I think he just believes, say, I believe in what they do, and there's a future in it. God, they back me up, and so I'm going to move on. But they get some from woman organization at all. They all get their focus. If they're not seeing that this they do, you divert them. Now this they do. Then we say, oh, what's this other person they talk so? It's really relevant, Them players, so they don't neglect them for long, even though they say they influence them. But how we go for support this girl, for like where we give recognition to a whole lot of women they will tell themselves at this particular section, but then they abuse them. We all in the social media, we see this call victim where they abuse them sexually, they abuse them economically, go through so many gender-based violence. But so we don't say with gender-based violence, now rape and salon, we don't know. Anytime they say the rape person, once and salon person, they don't want for no bottom. Economically, they get stranded, be so difficult for her. Almost make their house small today, almost make their house ensure say, oh, let me back this particular person. Where they do this, or let me ensure say the person come. Oh, almost my organization say, oh, this thing they happen. When you look social media, now woman they cried it. How can I this the reason that this thing? Let me call and see what we can do. For let me collaborate. It's a no, but you just believe in what you do, So you keep on moving, but it's really challenging. It's just self-centered. If you talk of the leaders, they will selfish, but if the selfishness, the flow, in between. You just feel, say, oh, this place is for me. No one has to come on board, And the sky is just too high for people to glide. You just need to believe in what you do. You're not competing with anybody. You are complementing each other's efforts for the development of our salon. If one for change one particular sector and you forget about another one, the country not will move forward. Wherever there are issues and somebody they do see what you can do as woman for support, especially with the talk of women in leadership. You get other women the way they come up with small organization. Why woman I do not the leadership and not go support your woman? It's like no, this leadership position are for 30 woman them. Then 30 we don't carry this way. Then 50 all we study before. Then you begin the whole call corner for them. No, it's not. We say you grow, you win, you retire. You need somebody else to come up. So you need to coach your mentor them. How to take up the space because you need to know how to talk, how to dress, how to articulate, how to do so many things you need. So you don't kind of the space. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm just the try for picture. I'm just trying to picture, so far what you've said in terms of, your struggle. Let me put it out that because of this, they have these big names. They don't want to recognize the young ones that are coming up. And personally, for me, I just feel that the young ones are the most sincere in this fight. The young ones are very sincere. The young ones are very fearless and they speak truth to power. So the younger women organization coming up that are sincere have been left out because they don't want you to come into their space. They don't want you to shine light on you. So they have all even refused to mentor you, to give you mentorship as to how you should cross out fund, put yourself and all of those things. So those are the things that are lacking, as Phoebe also mentioned. But Phoebe, before I get to you in terms of media coverage and all of these things on women's issue, I want to go to Dr. Fatima Bangura. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you, ladies. How are you? How's everyone?
We had
How are
Doc,
you?
yes, you are one person that the moment I flagged the topic out there, you were like, oh, I have a story. I need to say this. Like I say, a lot of people send me message. That means say this thing don't they well na people they ask, and I give kudos to you, Fabian. Forget that audacity they have the guts, to come out and talk about it, because a lot of people just cheer up for them. I'm not saying all of them. A lot of people just cheer up for this women organization because of the affiliation with it. And the noise is more than what they are doing. The noise is more than the work. So, Doc, I need you to tell me, what's your thoughts on this women organization in Sierra Leone? Have they been able to live up to expectation?
Absolutely not. They have not. And I can't really say that we have an expectation, but even the minimum is more than, it speaks for itself. Just making a gesture as to putting women first, asking, okay, women, what do you need? What is it that will make you better mothers, better sisters, better aunties or uncles, so that you can continue to nurture our children that are coming up? No, all I hear is, would I cost this? Would I cost that? Would I take this one in land? That is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. It's like, if they bring the issues that are actually need to be discussed and need to be evaluated so we can better grow and make Sierra Leone a truly great country. How can a country that be so rich in minerals and resources, but yet we're behind in every aspect? Please explain that. How why is that? Why is it that girls have to go sell markets in the morning just so that they can go to half of the school day and continue whilst after school come back and sell markets? That puts them out there, makes them more likely to be raped and other bad things happening to them. No, we need to put a stop to that. We do. I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed in Sierra Leone. I am so disappointed, not this current government, the past governments and all the other governments. When are we going to put ourselves first? When are we going to put our women first? It's like nowadays, China is going to take over everything. China is going to be telling us how to pretty much dress in the next couple of years. So please give me faith. Please give me hope that whatever we're doing here, just having this topic and conversation would maybe open their eyes. Please give me hope, Sierra Leoneans. I really, really would love to see that. So I am greatly disappointed, but I'm hopeful.
Okay, all right. Well, some of us, a lot of women are disappointed at some of the things our fellow women, especially the women that called themselves advocating for other women and girls. Some of us are a little disappointed at their actions. Fabian, being a broadcaster, Anna mentioned something that some of these critical. Okay, I've missed. I've missed Fabian. We need you. Can you please come back? But Alma, let me go to you. Talking about women organization not being collaborative, not partnering with other women organization. Okay, I think we have Fabian here. That's okay. Before Alma, I'm going to get to you on that question. But I was just rightly saying to you, Fabian, that being a broadcaster on the mainstream media, we haven't seen a lot of coverage with regards to women's issue, not just rape. There are so many women's issue, that are really, really paramount to us at this particular point in time. We have domestic violence. A couple of days ago, I saw a video that a woman was, crying, how the husband, beats her every day and all of that. There's so many issues, but we haven't seen much coverage from the mainstream media, especially the women in the mainstream media. Are those decisions been influenced by the owners of these media houses?
To a large extent, I don't believe it has anything to do with the owners of the media institutions, though. It comes down to the practitioners. So, most of the media people in Sierra Leone, a lot of the content you find in the media in Sierra Leone is politics. Everybody is so interested in politics, giving an update about what's happening in the political landscape. And there's so much more, obviously, the media can do. It's just politics. And interestingly, is even with us, the women, there are so many issues we can bring out in terms of media content. But again, we're all just doing the same thing. I can't at this point, at the top of my head, mention one show that I know about that is an exclusive women's show. Okay, well, one just came to mind. There's one that a lady called Princess Gibson does at the SLBC. I don't know if that show is still going on. I think it's something about women's world or so on. Minus that, I can't remember knowing any other show that is exclusive about women, issues surrounding women, and so on. So oftentimes it's just on International Women's Day. That's when all the attention is given to women and issues affecting women. Or, every once in a while when we stumble upon cases on social media where people try to score advocacy max and they bring it up on social media and make so much noise about it, and that's it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying making noise about those things is wrong. It's right, because every little act of speaking out contributes one step closer to us raising more awareness and thinking it down the minds of everybody that you can't just see women and grab them. Women are not just, objects you just grab. Women are not like, fruits you will find on trees in forests where nobody can claim ownership. So you just go and grab, say, okay, this is just an open forest and there's a fruit. Oh, I can pick it up. I can pick it off the tree if I want to. Women are not just objects you grab around like that. It should be with the woman's consent. And if it's a girl who is not 18 and above, there's no even consent. There's no discussion of consent. So yes, every attempt to talk about it, whether social media or mainstream, is important. But I'm saying on a normal day, we don't have consistency in these conversations. And that's a part where we can all as well take responsibility for it, because I am as well a female in the media. We're all females. We all have our own spaces. Whether we're on the media or not, we all have access to our social media. What's stopping us? But again, like you say, nothing can make thing be. So we need to get to a point where we all realize that this is a bloody mess we found ourselves in, and there's something we can all do about it, and we need to take more action to ensure that we get the desired goals.
Well, yeah, absolutely. This is just a call to action. But let me bring, before we get into other issues, let me just bring the issue of Khadija's issue as being a celebrity case. I always say Khadija issue is a celebrity case. And in the beginning, when the whole Khadija's mother and alleged rape or rape, whatever started, we see how women galvanize and they came together. I was impressed at that point in time. We saw how they came together. We saw how the whole women in Sierra Leone and in the diaspora came together regardless. And I felt at that time that it was a call to action for every woman or for every women's advocate or organization to begin to put some of these laws into place or into action. And I was impressed at that particular time. They got all the spotlight. And to be honest, this is a platform that we say it like it is. And some came from far and wide, claiming ownership of Khadija's issue, making financial benefit from Khadija. I have to be honest with them. And a lot of people acknowledge that. And a lot of people realize that. It was so open out there for all of us to see. A lot of them came and they acquired a lot of, financial support in the name of Khadija. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we had that a couple of days ago that the perpetrator has been released on bail and all of that, and they are even requesting for the father of Khadija warrant of arrest and so on and so forth. This is an issue that should have changed the whole dynamics of women activism in Sierra Leone. I want to make reference before I pose the question to every one of you on this podium. I want to make reference to George Floyd in America. He was not the first that we saw live being, brutally murdered and whatever to his neck. And, he was not the first. But his issue or his death came as an eye-opener. His death came as a call to action. The whole world eyes was on America. And it changed a whole lot of laws. I can tell you that. George Floyd's death changed a whole lot of laws, for African America or for the blacks in America. It is a call to action. So I was just referencing that with regards to Khadija's issue in Sierra Leone. But lately, the judge has released the perpetrator and requesting for Khadija's father. And I haven't seen any of these women that were making noise. I mean, we are so disappointed because a lot of people came out from all over the world. Sierra Leoneans came out, protested, and all kinds of things. Is it that they feel left? I don't know. They feel hopeless. We feel hopeless in Khadija's situation. Personally, I feel hopeless. And women organization, women advocates, I'm not talking. We don't say, like you said, to come and make judgments. But at least give us some hope. Give us some word of hope that, okay, this is happening, but we are looking into the situation. We are working on this. But I mean, there is nothing like that. They don't follow through. They are not consistent. Alma, you want to? I need everybody to throw light on this issue because it's really one of this issue that everybody seems to be very disappointed in. In our justice system. Alma, can you hear me? All right, Phoebe, you want to throw light on this whilst we're waiting for Alma? Okay, we lost Phoebe. Alma, you want to throw light on this issue?
Well, I think just like what Timmy say, it's the attitude of Salon, not only the woman them. It's just a one-off thing. We are starters for completing so difficult. Where they try for go foresee the finishing point of something. So that's an issue. You just make the noise on that day, talk, and even as the proceedings they go on, maybe a little much again. I only from few people in the area. Just the coffee and the talk, we're gonna have people in those strong advocates on page, and if you say then they delve on that issue. So it's really challenging. And we can just bust into something, and even like it's not like people get a motive because as someone going to and I begin to talk, oh, my organization they do rape, just the link them to that particular issue on that day, not following up because if your organization they do rape, this is the first issue they want to see the conclusion of justice. And then you begin to fight them because you don't have to go into a case where you will just start the justice and you left a middle. Then what you they take no money for? You have to see completion of your work they do. So it's really a big issue that we can just raise voice at a particular time and just let things go. And just like Africa and the talk, we just left Salon all team are politics, all team. Day, night are politics, Salon just to go away, but God go help you because there are many other issues, killing, dying. and we know they concentrate on them. We just they give the politician the light because when you talk about the issue, then you get the light. Some money they cause issue for let you talk about all say. So they make people know about them. While the other issue then they really affect people and people are not talk about them. So it's really bad that that kind of noise day, the start of that day, and now we know they see much. But the fourth one has let them keep watching and try to see justice prevail. Um, na the country and for the victims there. So that's what we go get for say on this. We need for collaboratively the seek the welfare of each person, each situation important, each person important. And together when we come, we can create the change, we can make the impact, we can solve the problems. Because when you run the faith, it can be a bit challenging. But when crowd effect, at least in listen to now, we see on that day the crowd, the effects we create. So just imagine if same day be the way people and say, okay, let me come together, let me do validation of how this process is did, and let me self see which area that we will follow up or see waiting they happen. But no, they happen. I don't know, maybe they happen, me not the follow up because we can concentrate on other things. But I don't feel so. But we need for catch up on all of them things they did.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
me there for saying.
All right. Thank you, Alma. Fabian, what's your opinion on this whole issue of Khadija, especially the way it was climaxed. In the beginning, it was on high speed. In the beginning, everybody jumped into it. Every women organization and activists jumped into it. Like I said, somewhere even exploiting the situation, making money. Like even Alma said, we have all kinds of women organization popping up, and some are even creating in the process. And at the end of the day, like she pointed out, consistency, it's not there, and they feel like they don't owe obligation to us, at least to give us updates, on how the proceedings are going. And even at this dying time, when the perpetrator has been released on bail and we haven't seen any updates, we don't want you to come and make judgments, but give us assurance, give us hope, but we haven't seen none of that from these women.
So it comes down to what we were talking about, the hypocrisy and the opportunistic advocacy that they're involved in. So we're also mindful that there's a possibility that there could be a time when people would come forward and make false accusations, and the wrong people would be in trouble with those accusations. But it would do us so much good if what was done in Khadija's case. Now, two people were arrested. Now, the investigation has been concluded, and the verdict is they're innocent. So they've been let out, um, which is good for us because, again, somebody was arrested, and it's a case that was investigated. But again, coming back to the other high-profile case, Wajakire Waka, Ede Paspa, Swidong, Opendong, how many of those people who have been in that same shoes have been parading up and about freely, who have not been arrested? Like Amarimba behind bars, it's the hypocrisy. Let the one stick be the same stick we would use to punish everybody. It should be the same approach. So if we're saying when people are involved in such scandals, when you're accused, you're going to be arrested until the investigation is concluded. It should be the same for Peter, Abu, Santigi, Sori, Mary, all of us. It shouldn't be for few and then others have an exception to it. Yeah, Kamaremba is behind bars. Those two people in the Khadija case were arrested, but they've been released because they're innocent according to the investigation, which I don't want to challenge because I don't have any evidence to challenge the outcome of the investigation. So well and good, we settle with it. Thanks to the police for pushing the matter, taking it to court. Thanks to the judiciary for sitting on the matter, all this while investigating, and now we've come to the conclusion of it. Well and done. But what to make Brajakin, they go and pass like nothing happened. What to make we're all rallying around him on social media, like say, na in they give you the air, will be they breathe. Why is everybody acting normal like nothing happened? What up? It's not making sense to me. If we're really serious about it, the same way we would arrest a gate man for committing that same crime. It's the same way we should be able to arrest a minister, we should be able to arrest a commissioner, a pastor, an imam, whoever the case may be. Whoever the case may be, we should be able to do the same thing. So it should not be hypocritical in the way we do one for one person, then we're doing something different for another person. We choose who would embark our advocacy on social media. We choose the cases we would be silent about. It's not making sense.
So are you disappointed in the outcome so far of Khadija's issue? And mind you, Khadija is just one person. How much more Khadija? How much more, of Khadija? And these people or these victims are watching. Do you think they will have confidence in the justice system, to fight for them? Or do you think they'll even have confidence in the women organization to fight for them or to give them the voice they needed?
Now, coming back to the Khadija situation, the investigation, it further reiterates and points out the lapses we have in the investigations and the limitations. So again, we don't have a DNA testing machine in Sierra Leone. We don't have, for example, CCTV cameras out in the streets. In other countries, I'm one person who likes to watch a lot of crime documentaries. I'm mostly on CBS reality watching documentaries. I'm on investigation discovery. That's what I like. I watch these cases. So when you see the investigations of whether it's a rape case, whether it's homicide, you name it. So the things they have access to, the gadgets they have access to properly investigate, we don't have them. We don't have DNA testing machines. We're not in a country where you would say, okay, according to the story, the person passed by that area on this day. Let's check the CCTV footages around that area. We don't have those things. We don't have them. And so we're limited. We're limited upon human intelligence to be able to come to a conclusion of, crimes. And that includes rape and murder and others. With the pathologist, what he can do is to tell you the cause of death. So for Dr. Owis, he can only go as far as telling you what actually killed the person, the cause of death, time of death, and so on. But he cannot be able to tell you who did it. Now, if we had a DNA testing machine, it would be easy to extract DNA sample from the victim to match the alleged perpetrator. So that way you would be able to know if the alleged perpetrator indeed penetrated the individual or not. Because again, DNA doesn't lie. You can't manipulate DNA. But in the absence of all those things, we are limited in investigation. So with the conclusion of the investigation on the Khadija case, that's a clear example that we are limited. We really are limited.
Yeah.
We are. So I was thinking that even with the women's organizations, very recently, with the Khadija case, there was a GoFundMe. Say Naomi, I don't know how the GoFundMe the end. I don't even remember. And I think there was another time where money was distributed amongst other women organizations to say, okay, we're helping with this, which was not a bad thing. Again, it's a good thing. But again, we all have, as we were having this conversation, I'm thinking, what is wrong with even, government, maybe through the Ministry of Gender, requesting for, well, not requesting, pleading for a DNA testing machine? We have very good relationship with China, for example, through the Chinese embassy, for example. Request through them, oh, we're begging, we need this desperately in Sierra Leone. Can the government of China donate, at least even if it's just one DNA testing machine to us? Or can we maybe go to Irish Aid? Can we go to UK Aid, US Aid? There must be some way, somewhere, somehow, we can be able to pull that off as a country through the government, through the many women organizations, whether it's the GoFundMe or so on. There must be a way. That should be our priority.
I want to agree with you, Phoebe, and that this takes me to ask the questions, the question whether these women activists or these women organizations are really, really working in the interest of women and God, rather in their own interest, to get the spotlight, like you said, to get the awards, and we will come to those spotlight thing and awards thing, because we want to know whether what the Sierra Leone as it is, with all the issues of women and girls, if really these awards are really commensurate to the work being done so far when it comes to women's issues. We're gonna talk about that very soon. But Doc, I just also want you to throw light on how you feel about Khadijah's issue, that the perpetrators have they've been released on bail.
He's lucky I'm not in Sierra Leone, because I will hunt him down myself, and all the other women will be behind me. He's lucky. How? Please tell me, how was it that person was freed? Why? Was he not the one that did the act? Is she not dead as a result of what he did? Why is that person working free? Who did he pay? Who is behind him? We need to. Oh my goodness. Who did he pay? And if so, can we pay that person back so that they can retry? Sierra Leone is so behind. We are so behind socially, politically, financially. Oh my, I'm just so full of words, but yet I don't know what to say. Why do we not have a DNA testing machine? Why are we still sitting in the darkness? Why are all these issues still? We look like jokes to other countries right now. Seriously, they're sitting there laughing at us. Like, ha ha ha, they can't protect their own. Ha ha ha, they can. Well, let's go there and
because at this point, we're still struggling to have a DNA, just a DNA, machine.
That's exactly DNA.
I think as women, our struggle is far from over.
Oh, Jesus.
It's far from over, because is it that they're not working in the interest of Alma? Can you please answer to this, or give your own thoughts on this? Are these women organization, or is governments, whatever their ministries and whatever, are they really working in the interest of women, or are they really addressing the issues that are very close to our hearts? Alma, can you hear me?
No. Come again.
Yeah, I am saying here, because the two speakers just mentioned about, we're still struggling with, the important equipment and all that, the tools that we need in terms of,
the basics.
Sorry?
I call them the basics. We are struggling with the basics. I call them the basics. We are struggling with the basics.
Those are the basics. You're right, sister. Those are the basics. If at this point we are struggling with the basics, with all our women organization, with all our women's advocates, and we have a first lady that is so vibrant when it comes to women's issues. Do you really think they know our issues, or they feel our issues, or they're working in the interest of women and girls?
Well, it's I see it like a foundation thing. We are at that level in this nation where things are in the book, but they are not reflective in the lives of people. That's the issue, So the advocate groups, they come up and speak of things, but implementing the things are an issue. Because women's advocates can form coalition and seek funds, because we are also here to complement the efforts of the government. And if government is constrained in having it, of course, I've been hearing they said it's expensive. I think as women's advocates, knowing well and good that this issue is mainly affected by women and girls, us coming together, writing to agencies for that particular thing, I think it will have been provided, but we all have different areas of interventions. We're all doing our own thing, so these are the constraints. But it's like It's like God coming to our rescue, Jesus coming to our rescue, because even the basics in this nation is an issue. Just like as the other speaker was saying over there, with all what we have, we are still far behind development. I did uh, something like a poem for 59 years of independence. It's in my Facebook page, Sierra Leone at 59. We are still struggling with the basics. And I'm doing a write up for this year's independence. Where are we at 60? Where are we at 60 without no sustainable light, no sustainable water? What is happening? You know, us, the populists, our leaders, we are voting in power, not this government, in fact, past government. What is happening? That up to now we are struggling with just the basics, you know. Um, the other speaker was saying, this machine running a salon way, something America own, I did this, it pass almost where they did, you know. Lobby self for all one self for letting can so them go give you, but it's really an issue. We need for pray and we don't pray long, we don't pray. God already answer our prayers, they will just need for coming to action. Take away selfishness, take away greed, take away self, you know, believing in Sierra Leone, one for transform Sierra Leone, knowing well not to government no more, not the forefront, people but not to the no more. We're all very responsible for making sure say this nation change. We only for do is support, work genuinely, work honestly, you know, what you say they do yourself or see the impact, the effect in the lives of people then. And I think it will be better for we all. But it's very bad. I remember at the commercial office, somebody to talk, I say, Mastika plenty now. I say, I don't know if it's Samagota and this. I say, how long say I know you get for 10% say not go to window Samagota? Which kind of attitude is, you know, government don't say sanitation issue. We prioritize them, you know, Madam Akisha, they do their best for the city council. But once again, you get to go put people for the look person that we for don't grow from that level. Now make I remember one time I listening Madam Clara I say if you take Saloma and come go America, they turn and Salo quick one. You know they take am 5 minutes. They take American man come with an Salo, they turn and America quick. Why the attitude? So we get for be positive. We get for be matured now. You know what they say there for small thing. Nama got to see and at the percentage that is so dirty. I say why? Things alone pass. I know the economy challenging. But 2000, I think for the week step you aim for manage with that you were able for good one. So it's boiled down to our attitude to the leaders, to the people, both. Because now we see the leaders, they no more. Both. We say so. Everybody is challenging, but let God help you as a nation.
All right, thank you. Fabian, having said all of this, do you think that the women organization or activists are working as partners or collaborating, or rather than working as rivals?
I think they're just working solo. El mande pa yon riding solo. Because working as a team, again, you think about in whose interest are you working? When you're working in the interest of the people, I would expect that during times like this, at least once in a while, they can host meetings, a dialogue where even if not all, most of these organizations together can have a dialogue on, okay, now we all work for women and girls. Now what is most pressing? What do women and girls need? Where should we focus most of our attention? What do they need? Because if they have these conversations, if they're genuine, first of all, in what they're doing, they would have these conversations. And when they have these conversations, they would come out with strategic plans to say, okay, this is what we need to do going forward. When they combine their strengths, it's going to amount to something huge. If they could all come together, discuss the ways forward, what else can we do, in what areas are we lacking, where do we need to place more emphasis, what do we need to do, it comes down to they would be able to address some of these issues. They would be able together collectively and say, oh, maybe let's raise a GoFundMe or rack our brains to find a way to see, okay, right now we're challenged with, even the reported cases, there are limitations in the investigations. What is limiting the investigations? One, the priority, a DNA testing machine. How can we chip in to help government? Okay, maybe let's do a GoFundMe. We raise as much as we can and we present it to maybe the Ministry of Gender and say, this is what we've come up with. It's incumbent on you now as government to see how you can chip in so we can be able to procure our first DNA testing machine because this is the biggest challenge we're having. So to report the cases is one thing, but when they report them, you need investigations to carry on. Because, mind you, some of these cases that are reported, the victims are in danger. We don't even have sufficient safe spaces for some of these victims. So imagine a child under 18 coming forward to say, my one of my parents or my guardian or somebody close to us has sexually penetrated me, and it happens that the child is living in the same house with the alleged perpetrator. You would not expect that child to go back to living in that same house while the investigation carries on. You would expect that there would be a safe space. So these are all the conversations. If the women's organizations can come together, and mind you, when we say women's organizations, not organizations owned and run by women, no, organizations that function towards helping women and girls. Those are women's organizations. Whether it's owned by a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. It's what the organization is doing. So if they could all come together and have these frank conversations, it's going to help them with a pathway that they could all follow to say, these are the priority areas. This is what we need to do. And from time to time, they also need to, reassess the impact of their advocacy. Where were we before all the advocacy? Where are we now? What impact have we been able to make? Is it time for us to redirect the messages? Should
Yeah,
we edit the messages? Okay, the sensitization is there now that,
brings me
these things are wrong, they should report.
see,
Now let's move the conversation to raising funds to be able to have safe
and
spaces, DNA machine, and all of it.
yeah, this brings me to well, one of the things that you mentioned, in your life, that women organization just want to get the spotlight, just want to get the awards. And so, what is your assessment? Having all of these women awards and all of that, is it commensurate to the work being done with physically seen with our naked eyes? Is it commensurate to the awards that been created for them?
So it's all just a persona. This is what some of them, not all though, because trust me,
Yeah,
there are genuine advocates and
right.
activists. You have the genuine ones, but you have the hypocritical ones, both male and female. So again, to those of you just joining us, those the males, the he for she ambassadors, the females as well who have been awarded and recognized as women's advocates, he for she ambassador, blah blah blah. Go check their social media accounts. How many of them have said anything about this high profile case we have? Rather, if you go on that man's page, you would see how most of them go there to like his posts, comment on it, beautiful comments, they share and all of it as if nothing is wrong. So, yes, you do have some of them who are genuine about it, who are working assiduously hard to ensure that women and girls have a safe space in Sierra Leone. But you also have those who are hypocrites. But again, we can't use the wit of the negative ones, of the hypocrites, to flag down the energy and positive impact of the genuine ones who are really making a mark and helping women and girls. So it's not that it's all of them. No, that would be a
Right.
fallacy of generalization to just say
We
it's
have
all of them. It's
a
some
couple
of
of them
them.
that are really doing really well, and one that I want to just acknowledge personally, it's female in Sierra Leone. I just want to, there are many of them, but I just want to give accolades to them because I have seen what they do and they follow through. Not just follow through, they update you in social media. If they set up a GoFundMe page for a particular case about something with a girl child or something, they will ensure that they update you every step of the way and follow through to the end. And this is what we want to see, cut across all women organizations or all women's advocates. So, and to see that, they follow through on issues and being consistent, because this is what is also part of the problem. If money not there and they let it go there. If spotlight on it on this issue, they will not take it up. And
Yeah,
also
they're looking for reward. They're looking for reward, not
reward.
actually the impact. Some
Mhm.
of them are actually looking for reward because this is what they do, so they get to be given awards. So they get to write proposals and send out to institutions and organizations, and they're funded, you know. So you go write, then you go begin buy bucket soap and sapo, you go begin to donate something. These are all the petty things they do, but it's
As,
just
yeah,
it's hypocrisy.
right. As we are rounding up, don't you think we should, like engage in this kind of conversation? Do you suggest that we have more of this conversation in our own different platform? As you, as a broadcaster, like you said, you are all guilty of this one way or the other. To create that, the discussion, so that we begin to call some of these things out. We begin to, to begin to speak out, because a lot of these victims out there are losing hope. They're hopeless. They feel hopeless. Especially Khadijah's case was a case that could have been bring hope. I'm telling you, hope to victims in this kind of situation. But at this particular point, a lot of us feel hopeless in the process. A lot of us don't feel, they don't trust the process, and a lot of us feel we have been used by the process and by some of these women organizations. This is a time for the conversation, this kind of conversation, to continue to serve as an eye opener to all of these women out there, that are coming out in the name of women organization. Let us begin to call them out. Don't you think so?
I second that. I highly think that this conversation's definitely open our eyes to not only us that are having this topic, but to others to be like, okay, this is something that we can really need, and hopefully start finding ways and solutions to solve these issues. You know, now that we've talked about this today, I am definitely going to see on how we can get a DNA test available. I'm reaching out. I'm spreading my wings. I'm gonna contact all my contacts, and I will, even if it's just one, like you stated, make sure another rape victim is not ashamed because their perpetrator was found not guilty when he is guilty. So this conversations is definitely healthy, and I hope that at least once a month we're able to have such conversations.
Absolutely, and I want to thank you, Doc, for coming with such a very useful or very good idea of trying to pull out strings so that we can be able to get the basics, like we all
Mhm.
call it, basics like DNA, machines and all of that.
Exactly.
Fabian, what's your take on on begin to call these things out?
Yeah, the
Exactly.
more we talk about these issues, the more awareness that the general public would have. So they would be able now to monitor and evaluate these women's organizations. The public would be well informed to know how to determine the ones that are genuine and those who are just there for the opportunities they get for their own personal and selfish gains. So when we have these conversations, it helps, and also it scares others away from embarking on such. So other organizations and individuals are aware now that people are paying attention. People are having this awakening to be able to judge us, to know who is a hypocrite and who is doing it genuinely. So they would begin to watch themselves. They would begin to watch their actions every step of the way before they take certain actions. They would think twice and thrice and be very sure of what they're doing, so they don't disgrace and expose themselves to the public.
Okay. Let me say, Adonis is saying, why are women with disability, I mean, those who have been strong in spite of all the challenges, their condition bring to them are not celebrated in Sierra Leone, instead of only those who are able to are being celebrated. Okay, in other words, I think what he is trying to say, that we have, like I said, we have tons of issues, that some of these organizations are not paying attention to. One thing he mentioned is about, women with disability, trying also to be pushful and all of that, they have also not been given recognition. And except, if you're not in the red carpet women organization or in the red carpet cabal, you will not be recognized. So these are all different sectors of women, that are challenged out there that we need to reach out to. Not just in Freetown. Freetown is just not Sierra Leone, because I have seen a lot of women organizations just focused on Freetown. The Red Carpet Women Organization just focus on Freetown. What about if we are having challenges in Freetown with all of this? How about the girl in the provinces? How about the girl, in the slums? How about the girl behind, Maboraka? All of these places. I can imagine some of the things that are going on there. It's terrible. I think they also begin to spread their wings and pay attention to these, not so popular people or this less privileged, people, and also reach out to them and acknowledge, the situation, rather than just focusing on Freetown and writing all this big proposal.
I like the way you put it, the red carpet cabal. So that's the point of the red carpet cabal. What they do is the red carpet. They're always on the red carpet to be seen and heard, because that's how they score the goals they want to score. Again, with the recognitions and the funds. So once they get there, their face is out, their name is out for them. It's a ticket to get their awards, to get, the proposals granted and all of it. So that's their own goal. But with what Adonis is saying, I agree though. There's a lady called Amira Kathleen Kulma. She runs the Smart Women's Initiative. On Women's Day, she and her team held an event at Hill Valley, and I was one of the people there. The Irish ambassador was also there, and so for them, it was about deaf and dumb women. Those are the women she brought on that day. So we were there to discuss the challenges of deaf and dumb women. So, and I said to them, I was the moderator, I said to them, this is something we should applaud. Because oftentimes when we talk about International Women's Day, we're celebrating the abled women. We leave out the disabled women. And they're also women. They are also women worthy to be celebrated. And they have challenges that are unique to them that abled women don't go through. So it's best to even emphasize the conversation around them. On that day, my heart bled. I felt bad learning and understanding for the very first time what deaf and dumb women go through. So, we don't have sign language interpreters in public spaces. Even when they're watching TV, listening to radio, there's nobody to interpret to them what's going on. So they're not even, first of all, familiar with the laws in the country. They're not even familiar with the news. They're not in tune with anything happening in the country, because our news on the radio doesn't cater for deaf and dumb people. Our news on the TV doesn't cater for deaf and dumb. And most of them, from what they said that day, don't go past secondary education. A lot of them just stop at primary. Some go to secondary, but there's no tertiary education for them. They're not graduate. Again, so these are women who would fall sick. They would need to go to the hospital. How do you communicate with the doctor what's wrong with you? And you need to tell the doctor how you're feeling and what's wrong for the doctor to, first of all, be able to make the right recommendation for the test you need to do, and to also make the right prescription. But they're going to the hospitals. There's nobody there to interpret for them. When their rights are violated, there is nobody at the police station to interpret for them to the police officers in charge as they're making their reports. So basically, it's as if they're invisible in society. Nobody is there to go tell them the laws so they understand their rights and responsibilities. Sign language is not common. If they're out in the streets, even with the public transportation, how do they tell the drivers where they're going? You understand? I was able to put into perspective the difficulties they go through, and I could. It's difficult. So I'm grateful to Amira that she and her Smart Women's Initiative team could come up with such an engaged program on that International Women's Day, where we are open to understanding how these women go by in society, almost as if they're invisible, and it's tough.
Like you said, sometimes if we don't have people bringing these issues to light, we tend to totally forget about them. Basically, from all indication, it seems as if they're really out of touch. They're really out of the reality on ground that that we see and hear and face every day as women. And they are so vulnerable. Imagine we can talk. We can,
Very Rachel,
we can
sorry to
talk.
cut you there.
We can
When
do
you
so
said that so
awesome.
vulnerable, I remember on that day another thing that the Smart Women's Initiative did. So the abridged version of the Sexual Offences Act, they were able to translate that into sign language so that the women can understand the content of it. And after that played, that's when they some of the women mentioned they have been raped before, but they did not even know that it was a crime. They did not even know the people were not supposed to do that to them. They also mentioned that they have underage deaf and dumb girls, who have also been penetrated. They struggle to explain to people. They need to come across somebody who understands sign language to explain what happened. And even when they explain amongst themselves, they're not even aware that it's a crime. There's a law against it, and that they can go to the police station, make a report, and it can be followed. It's sad.
It is hard, it is good that honestly we have this continue to have this conversation because I've equally learned a lot that bringing to light, especially the disabled women. It's an eye opener to all of us. So I think those are some of the critical issues that people don't pay attention to. Those are the issues that these women organizations should begin to fish out and bring to light because these people are really going through. Imagine with our eyes open, our mouth, we can talk and we can do everything. We're still being abused. Not to talk of people that they are so disabled. They can hear, they can speak, or they can move and all of it. You can imagine what they go through. So, Phoebe, I'm really, really appreciate you coming to the program today. But as we are wrapping up, what do you think, or how do you think the women organization or the women advocates, how do you think they should change the dynamics of advocating for women? How should they change the dynamics so that we will begin to see results and not just, talk the talk and not working the work? We need to begin to see actions. We need to begin to see results. So what's your suggestion on how they should change the dynamics?
Now, what they need to do is, first of all, be true to themselves and be sure that they're in this for the right reasons. And the right reasons could be genuinely advocating for women and girls. And these advocacy organizations as well, they vary. You'll have, for example, some that work with disabled women. You'll have, for example, some that work with, sexually violated women. You'll have some that work with, illiterate women and so on. So what they work on varies. But again, you would not find one organization that is working on one thing that only that organization is the only organization working on it. So collaboration is the key. So if, for example, you are in Freetown, you can collaborate with an organization in Kenema, in Magoka, that is working in the same line of advocacy as you're working in, because then you're able to collaborate, you're able to share ideas. What are the challenges there? You share, you brainstorm. Okay, how can we move past this? Because maybe one problem you're having in your community, another community somewhere has been able to solve it. So you brainstorm and you learn from other people to say, okay, this is how we were able to solve this problem. Okay, we can also replicate it here. So when they collaborate, it's easier for them to come to conclusions where they can be better capacitated to fight for those they're fighting for. Collaboration is the key every step of the way. They
All
should
right.
work together.
Okay, Alma, what's your suggestion as to our women organization or our women advocate, how do you think they should change the dynamics of, what they do and how they address issues, to ensure that we have results and we see actions being taken? Oh,
Sorry.
can you unmute
Hello.
yourself?
Hello.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Just what Fibian is saying, collaboration, teamwork, is very important. We need to change our mindset. We need to know we're working for the good of the people we are working for and not for our selfish gains. And we need to take every issue very relevant, every issue. Once it's a challenge, it's an issue, it's important, it's relevant. You don't need to see, no, Asia's own is important. Um, Sally's own is not important. No, come together, talk about the issue, find ways of solution, create linkages, partnership, collaboration, and I think we'll get there. Just like I said, every issue is important. As we have been mentioning women's issue, I sit back and think as you throw this topic, um, women's voice in Aisha Johanson's issue. I remember how long she has been in this football case. How many women's organization we are speaking about it? We are investigating and see how they can work together with her. You know, we are aware of the Akisoya's issue. You know, how many women throw light on that? We are aware of Sylvia Blyden's issue. Where we are voices. So we pick and choose. We pick and choose. It's in which
Selective.
we dey talk.
Right.
Yes, we select. So every woman's issue is very important.
Very
We not
important.
go say, oh, the person, if they're saying a victim, we say no, not a victim, a perpetrator also. No, we not go for that, but we dey give you support. For even if now
Because
you not the
because
perpetrator, okay,
the
but
person
you go
is
through the consequences go through because you for know the law.
where I belong, so I will not speak for that person because
Yes,
she's not.
yes. So, no,
All right.
that one is very bad.
Yes. I think today we've been able to conclude that collaboration, sincerity is the key. But at the end of the day, from all what we have discussed here today, this is my conclusion or this is my take. As women, we need to be fearless, to be focused, identify and choose to challenge issues that benefit not just the one particular sectors of women and girls, but all women and girls. Let us begin to put politics aside and look at the issues that really matters to us. And let us all choose to challenge and call out, like you say, Susan. Let us begin to choose and challenge the issues and call out gender bias, corruption, rape, domestic violence, women empowerment, and so much more. Because you know what? From challenge comes change. And together as women in Sierra Leone, and together as women's advocates and women's organization, we will be able to fight for justice and create that safe and secure environment for our women and girls to thrive and explore the full potential. So this is how we're going to end the program today. We have to be very collaborative when it comes to women's issue. We don't have to be picking and choosing which one to talk about and which one is the highlight of this all of this issue. Please let us work together. Let us advocate for every woman and girls, not just for one sectors, not just for the red carpet women, but for everybody. So I want to say thank you, Fian. It's been a pleasure, and I thank you. I know today's salon, it's late, you guys want to sleep and all of that, but I really, really appreciate you, ladies. And like I said before, I really have confidence in you, the young ones that are coming up, because you seem to be very, very sincere in this issue. And from all indication, from what you guys have said today, I can feel the passion, I can feel the sincerity in your words. So let us encourage women organizations, you that have made your names and everything, let us encourage the young ones. Let us mentor them and see how we can create space for them as well, because we all, our voice all matters in this situation. So I'm going to say thank you also to our viewers, for those of you who've sent your messages, Glory, Massa, Jenny, and so much more, Adonis, and all of you. Thank you very much for being part of this wonderful discussion. And please, in our own defense, let us begin to have this discussion. Let us begin to talk about this, because the more we talk about this, the more our eyes are open, and the more we begin to call this situation out. Like you said, Fabian, and you said, Alma, the ones that are not sincere will begin to, be afraid to do certain things that they are not supposed to do. So on behalf of the Tell It to Rachel platform, I want to say thank you, ladies. Thank you for your boldness and for the passion we have in this. We are all in this together. Please let us continue to work and give hope to these victims, and thank you to everybody that has been watching. Till next week, keep watching Women and Politics on the Tell It to Rachel show. Bye.
Bye-bye.